I literally made that prayer and was like, Lord, please don't send anyone in my life unless it's my husband. Don't want it. Don't want to waste my time. And I remember praying that prayer, and this is going to sound crazy, but I prayed the prayer, and like literally a month or so later, if even that, my husband reached out. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Ashley, and today I want to talk about all things relationships. More specifically, what I wish I could go back and tell my younger self, just like tell myself when I was in my early 20s and like in college and in those years. I just reached 29, which just feels so crazy, but I was just thinking back to what I wish I could have said to me, or what I wish I would have known before. So hopefully these things will help someone in some ways. So let's get into the video. Alright, so the very first thing, and honestly one of the most important things to me that I would go back and tell myself, is that waiting until marriage is actually possible. I remember being younger and just thinking that waiting until marriage is impossible. I don't know anyone who's doing it. I don't know anyone who is like has done it. Like I don't think it's possible. I remember having that mindset, and now I can look back and really say that that way of thinking was like negative and like faulty and not true, honestly. So I got to a place where I just really felt God tugging on my heart in this area, and I was just so confused, like, Lord, how? I need answers. So of course I spent a lot of time in prayer, but I also went to like all that I know at that time, all that I knew to do at that time was go to like YouTube. And I remember looking up people talking about it. Of course, it was like a handful of people talking about waiting until marriage, but I think it most definitely inspired me. Like, oh wow, they did it and they're married. Oh wow, like they waited for X amount of time or years or just whatever it is. So I remember like being inspired from seeing just those couple handful of people that I did not know. But it was just still cool to see someone like younger and just still trying to walk things out in this way. So I'm here to say, and would love to tell my younger self, that waiting until marriage is possible. You can do it. It just comes to like setting up boundaries and putting things in place so that you're not distracted and kind of pulled in that direction. I had to take some drastic measures. For me personally, there was like certain music I would not listen to. I was thinking like, I can't try to live a certain lifestyle but allow these certain lyrics to get in my heart. I was just like, I can't do it. Can't. There's certain environments I cannot be in, certain places I just can't go. Like there's certain things I can't do anymore. And also it even came down to like conversations. I remember like hearing people talk about certain things and just being like, let me just slide on out of this conversation because I just can't listen to like these things right now in my life. And again, this was just like my experience, but I seriously had to put some huge boundaries down. And I also remember just being like confused, like, do I tell people on the first date? Like, what does that even look like? But everything ended up working out for me and my husband. Definitely waited until marriage. It was hard. Let me not sit here in front and say like it's not challenging, but on the other end of that spectrum, it is very possible. And I think one huge thing that helped us and helped me was like discovering my why behind it. My why was that I wanted to put God first in my life, before man, before anything else. And I knew that this was something He was leading me to do. So putting Him first was something that was like a non-negotiable. So that was my why. So just discovering like your why is something, if you're thinking about doing it, if you don't understand how you can even do it, just think about like, what is my why behind it? It can't just be someone told me to. Like it needs to be like your truth and your why. So hopefully this helps or inspires in some way, if it's even a thought on your mind as it comes to like waiting until marriage. Alright, so something I would most definitely go back and tell myself is that the right relationship will help you grow and help you become your best self. Like, I just am this type of person that always wants to help and save people and all of this. But when it comes to relationships, being equally yoked is like crucial. Like it's key to kind of be able to see things together, able to kind of walk life out together, and able to help each other. Like that is why we're in one of the reasons why we're in relationships, to like help each other become our best selves. And even when it moves into marriage, like you're helping your spouse or significant other get to a certain place to accomplish a certain mission that they have for their life, and your union will have a mission as well. So that's something that I would love to go back and tell my younger self, like, be equally yoked. Don't like be the person like trying to pull that person to a certain level, or like waiting for change to occur. Like, honestly, don't try to change someone. Don't try to like change their faulty thinking. Like, this was just me in a relationship. I would go back and tell myself these things. Not saying don't be patient with someone, not saying the person has to be perfect, not saying those things, but don't go into the relationship thinking, oh, I can change them. I'm sure you guys have heard this before, but not something that should be done. All right, so another thing I would most definitely tell myself is that don't stay somewhere because you're comfortable. Do not stay in a relationship because it's comfortable, because you're familiar with the person. Just leave. If you feel like it's not something that you're supposed to be in, if it feels like it's not making you your best self, let it go. Honestly, like, that would be something I would love to go back and tell my younger self. I remember having this faulty thinking, or like just unhealthy mindset of like, oh, well, I'm comfortable. Like, this is the place that I'm comfortable in, and I know this. No, like, knowing that it's not somewhere you're supposed to be. Like, I remember having conversations with my best friend about this, and we would just be like, we've grown and changed so much. Let me just say that disclaimer. But I just remember like having this conversation of like, well, girl, I'm comfortable. Like, I can't imagine. I would honestly go back and just shake her and be like, girl, leave. Let it go. Let the relationship go. It'll be okay. So that would be something I would most definitely go back and tell myself. Don't stay somewhere just because it's comfortable, because at the end of the day, you could be blocking exactly what God has for you and God's best for your life. All right, so another one is that I would most definitely say, like, give this area over to God. I remember getting to a place where I was just like, Lord, I obviously don't know what I'm doing. Have no idea what I'm doing. And I remember one day specifically just like praying out to God and being like, Lord, I don't want anything that you don't want me to have. I don't want a relationship that you don't want me to be in. And please, this is a strong prayer, honestly, but I was like, please don't send anyone in my life or allow anyone else to enter my life unless it is the person that I'm supposed to marry. Mind you, y'all, I was in like my early 20s, so I was really stepping out on faith. I didn't know if that meant like I wouldn't meet somebody till 30, 40. I didn't know. But I was like, Lord, I don't want to waste my time anymore. I don't want that. And honestly, surrendering over like my relationships to God was so transformative for me. And this was an area that I thought I knew how to do it. Like, I was like, I got it, but I didn't have it. I didn't have it. And I will say, God works in like some interesting ways, because I literally made that prayer and was like, Lord, please don't send anyone in my life unless it's my husband. Don't want to waste my time. And just allow me to have the discernment to see if it is. And I remember praying that prayer, and this is going to sound crazy, but I prayed the prayer, and like literally a month or so later, if even that, my husband reached out to me and like was in my DMs, and I was like, Lord, I know you heard my prayer. I know you heard my prayers. I know you heard my prayers. Is this you? So, of course, I didn't know at first from like the initial DM, but over time, I feel like God definitely showed me that this is my husband, or that was going to be my husband. And it's just powerful, like when you surrender that area over to God, like any area of your life. So that is a big one that I would say, like, just don't think that you know exactly what you need, who you need, everything about relationships. Just allow God to lead you and guide you in this area. If he's giving you red flags and telling you to let go, let go. All right, so another thing that I would most definitely say to my younger self is that be very intentional and strategic about the like dating process. Don't just date just because. Like, really be intentional and really date with the goal of like marriage in mind. And I know that could sound crazy, but it's like, why date someone if don't have the qualities or characteristics of what you would desire in a spouse? I just feel like it's definitely a waste of time. It goes back to that mindset of like, oh, I can change them, or marriage might change them. No, like if the person's doing these things outside of marriage, there is a chance that they could potentially do it inside of marriage. I'm not saying people won't change, but I'll just say that it's very important to like notice characteristics. Notice how people are acting. Notice how people treat you through certain situations, and be very intentional and strategic about who you're allowing in your life and who you're allowing to like stay in your life. If you see the red flags, literally just leave, like let it go. And honestly, I remember just thinking like, oh my gosh, what if it is the right person, and like we stop talking, and God, like what if? And the reality is that if it is, like God will bring that person back to you, a better version of themselves. And if it's not, God's gonna send somebody so much better into your life. Okay, so these are just some of the things I wish I could have told my younger self and just sat down and had a conversation. Like, look, don't do this, this is not worth it. But again, you know, we all have to live, we all have to learn and grow, but hopefully this helps someone in some ways. Yeah, if you guys have questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below, or anything that you want just for me to answer or talk about. Also, you can reach out to me on Instagram if you would like to, and just I'm more active over there as well, just sharing more of my day-to-day life. So thank you guys so much for watching and staying till the end of this video. I hope that it helped in some way, and I'll see you next week in my next video. Bye guys.